So for the most of you guys who are dealing with narcissistic family dynamics, it may not be the video you want to hear today, but I want to give you guys some enlightenment. You see, we have a narcissistic parent, and we have the second parent, who is usually the enabling parent. Now, usually the enabling parent may sometimes be an empath, okay? You may have had an enabling parent who was an empath. It could have been your father was an empath, your mom was narcissistic, or it could have been your father was an empath, your mother was empath, and the father was narcissistic. It can go both ways. But you have got to know something, and this is something what I've experienced in my journey. The enabling parent is really struggling. You know, ladies and gentlemen, if a person who is very, very keen and who has got your eyes open, you will see that that enabling parent is struggling and is really, really suffering in that relationship, in that marriage. So there may not be so many things that they will tell you. If you're a kid, for example, that enabling parent is your mom, you are really going to see your mom or your father, and they're really struggling to keep it together, okay? Sometimes you may see them, the parent came back is drunkard, he will start to beat their mother, to beat your mother, to beat your mom, physical violence, because he's a drunkard man, so the enabling parent doesn't have to ask any questions. She's supposed to obey. The man is drunk, he came back home, he's high, it doesn't matter what mood he has on that day, the enabling parent is there to obey. The moment that enabling parent refuses to obey, the whole pressure and abuse is going to go onto that parent because they're conditioned to obey, okay? And sometimes this is very difficult to watch. Me personally, I've been able to see an enabling parent. My mom was the enabling parent, and my mom was a very, very, very good empath back in the days, okay? And sometimes, why is it hard for the enabling parent? Why is it very difficult for them? This is because sometimes those people, they are there to keep balance in the unit. They want to make sure that there's food on the plate, you know. A lot of times you see the narcissistic parent is not even at home. They're always on the move somewhere, maybe sometime with other women, you know, because those guys are like serial cheaters. So they may have spent a lot of time out there with other people, sleeping with different women. And it's the neighboring parent who was left behind to make sure that everything is intact, you know, the whole family is intact, and taking charge of everything. And let me tell you something, one thing I've discovered. One of the biggest reasons what motivated me to leave that unit, when I remembered all these events back in the days, and everything came back to me, then I say, okay, now I remember everything. I remember what happened, I remember who did what, I remember why they did it, and how they did it, and what they did, you know? And sometimes the pressure is too much, you know. The pressure that is put on those enabling parents is too much. Ladies and gentlemen, very few people talk about the enabling parent. But I'll tell you what has been my experience. Personally, it's not going to be any different from yours, because if they're enabling simply that. It's as simple as that. The pressure that is put on them is too much. Like I've told you, most likely, they are empaths. So they do not want to tell you some of these things because you will not understand. But if you come very close to those enabling parents, they are going to tell you that they are under abuse from their partners, husbands or wives. If you take a very closer look at dysfunctional family units, you're even sometimes going to see enabling parents who will usually pass on. A situation might arise, and of course, all of a sudden they fell sick, or they ended up in the hospital. There was something wrong with their body or something wrong with their whatever. body organs. Let me tell you something. The real reason they got very deep into that situation, that is because they were under abuse. In most cases, you were too young to know this. They could not sit down with you and tell you this. But they was going through abuse from their husbands or their wives. And that is what exactly complicated their own health situations, and sometimes even most cases they have passed on. So when you're looking at this dysfunctional family or narcissistic family dynamics, it is usually the neighboring parents that usually pass on. And as soon as they pass on, the narcissistic parent is going to run very quickly and get somebody else. Even sometimes they may have somebody even before that person passes on. The neighboring parent may be in hospital, and the narcissistic parent has already got a replacement before that person passes away. You know, you guys, I will tell you the truth. There's a lot of things that have been hidden from you on purpose. You are not supposed to know. So that's why I'm telling you the truth. It will help you understand and put the puzzles together to understand what really was going on in your family. The enabling parent might have been hospitalized, and the narcissistic parent has already gotten somebody new. So they already have somebody, a replacement, even before the person has passed on. And normally it's the enabling parent who usually passes on the first. The evil ones always, they stay behind because they're the ones who are putting the punishment onto other people. But the enabling parents usually, they're the ones who pass on the first. Sometimes it will also be other family members within the unit that have been going through silent abuse without being seen or without being heard, and they could even sometimes have passed on as well. But usually the first person to go is normally the enabling parent. If you look back in your family dynamic, you might have seen there's a couple of empaths that have passed on. They were very, very beautiful souls and very good people. They have passed on for some reason. Maybe there was a sickness, it was an accident, or it was something. It could have been something, but they have passed on. The flying monkeys are still there. The narcissists are still there. The psychopaths are still there. The other people are still there. The good ones have gone. The truth shall set us free. The moment the world starts learning how to talk about the truth, there's people that are going to be set free from that truth. It may trigger you a little bit sometimes, but you're going to know the truth, and it is going to help you really understand what to do with yourself. Because now you know what direction to go and you know what to do with your life. Because you see, if you're living in lies, you're living a lie, and sometimes you're shining away from the truth, that means you're living a lie. You're not able to make proper decisions with yourself because you do not know what is the truth. Okay? So what I'm really trying to say here, if you have been in that unit where you see sometimes there is people that are passing on for some reason, there's family members going, look very closely to those people. They might have been very good people. They could have been the beautiful empaths in the family. Because you see, let me tell you something about these people. Normally the enemy comes for the good ones first. The enemy comes for the good ones, the strong ones, because the empath one, you are the strongest ones. So those are the people the enemy attacks first. The enemy attacks the good people first. They will save the bad ones because they have no business with them. Those are people who aid them and the flying monkeys or whatever. They have no business with those ones. They attack the good ones first because they're the ones with the power. Okay? But one day, there is going to be one person that is going to take that enemy head on. And it could be you, the black sheep of the family. The enemy could have been attacking so many different targets within the unit. And they've been getting away with it. People have been dying and passing on and whatever, ending up at all the hospitals and whatever. But there's going to be one person in that unit. One day they are going to wake up and they are going to take on that narcissist head on. And they will not see that coming. So those people, the narcissist is going to pay. Ladies and gentlemen, there is something which I've been mentioning so many times in my videos. The narcissists, they are going to pay for their sins. It does not matter if it's your father, there has been the narcissist, there has been the problem in that unit. Your mother has been the problem the entire time. They are going to pay for their sins. They are not going to get away with it. The reason why you see them running very hard when you have run out of the unit, they are trying to put somebody replacement very quickly, because that's how they operate. It's because they are trying to run away from their sins. They are trying to run away and cover up their sins very quickly, so they put a replacement there. You know, the black sheep, somebody will take your position when you leave. They're running away from their sins because they don't want to pay for their actions. But on the very spiritual level, they know that they're going to pay. And it's just a matter of time until karma will hit them in the face. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. A lot of you guys don't understand these dynamics, how they work. When we leave those units and we start talking about it, you may think that, oh, how can you talk about your family like that? What is wrong with you? People don't understand how narcissism works until you have been in that kind of unit. That's when you understand how they operate. But let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. A black sheep that has left the unit, there is going to be things that are going to start happening in that unit, and you will be taken by surprise. It may not surprise you because you will know why these things are happening, but they're going to happen very fast. Ladies and gentlemen, breaking a cycle is only done by archangels. Let me repeat this one more time. Breaking generational trauma is only done by archangels, the black sheep of the family. Let nobody lie to you. Let nobody ever fool you. Let nobody ever convince you that you can go and try to break a generational cycles in the hospitals, with the therapists. I don't know, these psychologists. Do not bother yourself. This is a spiritual assignment. It is only done by archangels. Those are the guys they call the black sheep of the family. Those are the archangels. So the enemy, what the enemy does in those families, those dysfunctional family units, or especially narcissistic family dynamics, the enemy tries to target the few empaths in those families. They may not all be black sheep, they may not all be the scapegoats, but the enemy is going to start targeting those empaths in the family. That's why you see a lot of times people are passing on. The neighboring parent has died. You know, there's a family member, all of a sudden they found them dead in the hospital. They didn't wake up the next day. Those kind of things. The enemy is targeting the good ones, because the enemy wants the good ones gone. The enemy is going to spare the wicked ones, but the enemy is going to take the good ones. Oh, the other family member passed on. This one passed on. The neighboring parent passed on. What happened? Oh, they were sick. They went to hospital. They never came back. Those kind of sickness stories. They are being attacked. But there's one person that is going to wake up one day. That person is called the black sheep of the family. The narcissistic parent will never see that person coming. They may have felt it energetically many years ago, but they will not see that person coming. When that archangel wakes up, it's game over. Ladies and gentlemen, that archangel is only in those families before the awakening. When they have awakened, it's game over. And there's nothing you can do. The moment they pick up their sword, ladies and gentlemen, there's nothing you can do. It's game over. They are the only people capable to carry out that assignment of breaking that kind of trauma that is actually destroying a lot of souls in that unit. But sometimes, unfortunately, some lives will there are lives that will be lost, okay? And the lives that are lost, like I've said, the wicked usually stay longer. The good ones will go in those moments. But that is only happening until the real lion wakes up. Okay? So let us know what you think about this video. If I've been the scapegoat in the family, the black sheep, and you've seen these things I'm talking about, let us share everything in the comment section below. Let us know what you think about this. You guys know that I do love and appreciate your support. You can always book a session with me if you want to. You may donate or support my channel if you want to. And until then, I'll catch you guys in my next one. There's almost signing out. Much love and blessings. Peace.